Hey, what is up, guys? This is a matchup that I decided to record for me having a game against Sky Strikers. I haven't played the deck a lot, and I initially thought I'd actually live stream it as and record it at the same time, where you'd actually be able to know my thoughts while I'm actually playing the deck. But then I realised when I saw the counter at the side of the computer that it was going on for an hour this entire game. I thought, well, no one wants to sit here for an hour and just watch one game, so I ended up just recording over this now. So it's a lot more short. It's only like 15 minutes or so. Which will make it a bit more enjoyable for you. But the reason why I'm still doing my BA, you're probably sick of seeing me play BA, but I'm actually going to Nats in Birmingham. I think it's in Birmingham with BA, and I want to have as much practice against Sky Strikers and the meta with it, but mainly Sky Strikers because that's probably going to be one of the decks that is represented most, along with burn in the form of Trickstar, but I already have great practice with Trickstar, and it should be pretty alright. I have decent-ish matches with Trickstar, so hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. But sorry about the game one here. As you can see, he had the Widow Anchor and Disruption during my turn, and I hit Brick City, so it's not like I could do anything. I could, I think I had Tour Guide in my opening hand, so I'd be able to normal the Tour Guide, but it'd just play Widow Anchor on it, so I wouldn't be able to get any pluses from it. And I was already behind the game because of just the brick hand. I could try and play through it, but it wouldn't really do much. I'd just only be able to get a free search off Rhino during end phase, but it's not good. It's not good. It's really bad opening. But this opening is far better because I'd be able to go into the Underclock Beatrice play, which is like very linear. If anyone's ever played against BA, this is like the standard play now instead of the version where you went into decode where you had to actually have multiple BAs in your hand and you'd actually waste some resources to be able to do it. So this is overall the better version of it. You get Beatrice, Underclock, and in my circumstance, I also have the Mistake, which is I've come to realize is absolutely amazing during this format because so many decks do searching, Trickstar do searching, Tridraco. In zombies, they do some forms of searching which hard, but so it is quite useful. It does a lot of disruption. So in this circumstance, he tries to terraform into the field spell. I think the field spell lets him excavate, and if it pops itself, it searches Ray. So I thought, no, I'm not going to give him the free option to go into Ray, but he already has the Ray in hand, which is a bit sad for me, but oh well. I do a little bit of a misplay here where I forgot that Ray has a quick effect to be able to tag out during his turn. I thought it was only during my turn that it could use its quick effect to tag out. So I thought to myself, oh, if I get rid of the Ray now, he won't be able to go into Kagari or Shizuku, so it won't give him any free advantage, but I kind of mess up in that circumstance. So I send Rhino and then use Rhino's effect to send Farfa to attempt to banish Ray, but he just chains Ray's effect anyways, which teaches me that I need to read cards or I'm never going to be good at this game. So I get the see about hand for the sole fact of if he somehow beats over Beatrice, I can get Fusion Dante, and then Fusion Dante can use its effect for me to get a free draw one, and sending Seer, which isn't really much of a discard. It's just giving me free advantage because it gives me a Dante and an extra card in hand. So he opts to go into Shizuku because he doesn't have anything engraved to actually add back to hand, which is a bit sad for the deck, but it's fine for him because he just makes the Phoenix and gets rid of the Mistake, which is okay because I still have the draw in hand. So I can use my draw on resolution now, so he doesn't get any more. I think I use it now on resolution, so he doesn't get any more free searching, which means that for me it's a lot better because there isn't any more extenders that he can actually add to hand to disrupt my plays or stop me in any way. So he uses with anchor to take the Beatrice. Um, So it's a bit sad for me because unfortunately Beatrice, unlike Dante, doesn't trigger when it's just sent to grave. It only triggers when it's destroyed. So it just means that he can attack over my underclock and do a lot of damage to me, and there isn't really much I can do. So then he just links away. I initially thought he was actually going to link away into a decode talker because it gives him arrows pointing down. So if he gets into if he has a ray or something like that, he can actually make a Kagari or Shizuku to get some more advantage. But he goes into proxy for some reason. I don't know why he goes into proxy. Maybe because he can crash it into things later and get the extra monster zone empty, so he can pop off again. But for me, this is a fine circumstance. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about is the back row in case it's a Widow Anchor or something like that. So I choose to summon the Seer. Well, normal summon the Seer. So if he uses Widow Anchor to take the Farfa, I still have Seer Dante Loop, which gives me free advantage. So, well, it doesn't really give me free advantage, but gives me kind of a wall to be able to hide behind. So I have this idea in my head at this point where I realize that Sky Strikers can't actually play if you have a monster in the main monster zone. So I thought that F-Zero would be really, really useful in this circumstance where I just detach, make F-Zero, and add Crash, make F-Zero attack Proxy Dragon, so I take no damage, and I get to take control of Proxy, so it moves into a main monster zone. And he takes a bit off his life points, and then Proxy returns back to him in a main monster zone. So it means that all these spells in his deck, well, all the good spells, the Sky Striker Engage, Widow Anchor, anything that can really deal with F-Zero won't be able to work because Proxy will be in a main monster zone. And as far as I'm aware, all the Sky Striker. Oh, I've just completely lost my train of thought. I'll come back to me in a minute. But he ends up drawing into the field spell anyways. But Mistake is just amazing. I'm not completely sure on the ruling here, but it wouldn't really matter if I changed it on the activation of it or changed it to its effect on it. I think the ruling is if I changed it to the effect, it'd still excavate, but you won't be able to add or pop the field spell if you revealed a Sky Striker card. So I just opt in this circumstance to not really summon anything else, because if Proxy leaves the field, he can start doing his plays again where he can use all his spells. So I'm just going to chip away his life points slowly with F-Zero stealing Proxy, and then now that I've got Snow and everything, next turn it's just GG, because just normal Snow F-Zero attacks into Proxy, and I just auto win there, so it's pretty good. Pretty good, I've come to realise. A lot of people when it comes to BA actually prefer to play Borrelord, but in this format I'm actually going to be keeping the F-Zero in because against Sky Strikers, which does seem to be quite a popular deck, it does hurt them quite a lot. Unless they've got Widow Anchor or some way to get F-Zero off the board, it hurts them a lot, which makes it pretty good for me. Game 3 is... I do a misplay, and I'll have to explain at the end of the video, because this bit, the end bit does slightly crash, so I'd have to explain to you the combo that I actually do. It's a bit sad, but oh well. So he just does the standard going to Kagari and then makes Shizuku. I don't know why he didn't just go straight into Shizuku, because it just felt like he just wasted a Kagari there, but oh well, maybe he just wanted free fodder in the grave for something else later. So he uses the Lilith, I think it is, to get the virus that pops spells and traps, which is an interesting tech in it. I go on it. It is interesting. It lets him get like infinite transient and other cards on the field, so it is quite good, and it does trigger Darkness Diablos, of course. But um, it's all right. I don't understand though in this circumstance. Well, I do and I don't at the same time, because I would have probably tried to use Diablos to affect my opponent's hand, but it's just me personally in that circumstance. But he tries to use the virus declaring traps, hoping that he hits like Mistake, Anti-Spell Fragrance, or Imperial Order. But thankfully for me, I didn't open any traps, and I don't think I opened any traps this entire game, which actually makes it pretty good for me. I open with the Tour Guide again, but I opt to not use it for the sole fact of, again, if he has Widow Anchor, if he has Ash or something like that, it completely turns off my plays. So Tour Guide for me now is a probably a mid to late game card when I have more control. So it's not really a turn starter. It's more like a win harder card or a comeback card. I try and keep it as long as possible. So I made my Dante mill 3. It's nice to have Dante in my monster zone. Absolutely amazing, because it means that if I want to extend and make another Dante, I have the extra monster zone free. So I use Rhino. I think I send Gref with Rhino, so I get a Seer on board, which makes it a lot better. Yeah, I send Gref to summon Seer. So then after I've done some damage, I can do the Beatrice Underclock play, which is really, really good for me. Mainly for the sole fact of, if he attacks into Underclock Taker, I can use Beatrice to send Farfa to stop the Underclock from being destroyed by either banishing Underclock Taker or banishing his monster, which either way gives me my Underclock back and it will have it pointing to something, so it makes it quite good. The only sort of worry with this combo is always if my opponent has a set Call by the Grave, it kind of stops this combo dead in its tracks, but thankfully he didn't open that, or he's opting to save it for something else. I don't know what else he'd want to save it for. And I choose to set the Twin Twisters end phase. I think I milled a Scar this turn, so I get to a Farfa search. So it gives me like, I'm in a really good position right now, because I can Twin Twister that back row and the, I think it's Barrel Roll, the continuous spell, and then Farfa away one of his monsters. So it means that I am actually in a pretty good position. So overall, I actually think that this is pretty decent play for me to do, because now that I've learned that Ray can trigger during either player's turn to do the special summon, it means that I have the Beatrice play. So if I use Beatrice when he summons like Shizuku, I can use Alec on it. So during the end phase, he doesn't get the free search, or I can try and get another search by sending a Scarmore, something that I need at the time. But in this circumstance, pretty alright for me, because I'm able to Twin Twister the back rows, and I think he ends up summoning a monster before I end up Twin Twisting, but I'm not completely sure. I think it's Ray. Yeah, he ends up summoning Ray and using its effect, which I'm fine with that. He can make his Kagari and add engage from grave back to hand, which is it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't need to worry about that. The only sad part is, of course, he gets like another free search and he gets the Darkness Diablos. But I don't think he ends up using Diablos' effect for some reason, unless no, he doesn't end up. No, he ends up trying to use the spell to pop the. No, ignore me. I end up using the Twin Twisters to pop the 2 Bakra, and then the Farfa to get rid of Kagari, so then it will return back to a main monster zone. So even if he uses Darkness Diablos as effect now to try and affect my hand, it still means that Kagari will come back into a main monster zone, so he doesn't have any disruptions during my turn. I kind of do a really, really awful play here because I didn't read Diablos properly. Or I thought it was only that I couldn't tribute his monsters, so I end up sending a snow thinking, oh, I'll just set the Diablos, it's fine. But unfortunately for me, Diablos can't be targeted, so complete retard of the year moment over here, so I end up banishing the 7 for which is a bit stupid of me because I could have actually done with half of those resources still in the graveyard to be able to do plays, so I end up trying to target Diablos with Snow, but of course Diablos can't be targeted, and it did kind of confuse me here because of course replay occurs, my opponent can pick what they want to attack again, and for some reason he actually chooses to attack the Snow over the Underclock Taker. I don't know if he wanted to get more damage out or whatever, but I would have probably killed the Underclock because even though it leaves me with an extra monster zone available, it still means that I can't shrink down Kagari's attack to a load, so Beatrice can effectively attack for all it's worth. And I had an idea in my hand, but it was a half-baked idea. Thankfully, half-baking it didn't kill me in this situation, but the idea was that I actually do activate Slumber and then attack him for game because it would get rid of Kagari, and I forgot that he had Ray Engrave, so I'm actually not even going to explain that one. But in this circumstance, this is where the video kind of the recording kind of glitches from the dueling book thing. But in this circumstance, what actually happens is that I choose to activate Slumber, so he gets a Gamazeel and I get a Comungus. Of course, it kind of backfires because he gets Ray back, and Ray's effects tribute itself to summon Kagari, gives him 3 Darkness Diablo. So it's effectively like I blew up my field for nothing, but it was fine because I just normal tour guide's effect to special Seer from hand. Overlaid those two to make Dante detach 3, detach the Seer, mill 3. You can probably get where this is coming from, get where this is going, where I end up doing the F0, and since I milled, I think it was an Alec, I think it's Alex's name, the one that special summons from hand but negates its effect, I was able to put enough damage on board and actually win, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. Overall, I think that it needs a lot of tweaking, but I feel a little bit underwhelmed with Sky Strikers, maybe because it's like the whole Farfa thing can actually be over it, but I don't feel as impressed. I'm more worried about like going up against what is it, Trickstar than it is going up against this. So thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be signing out now. Peace.